welcome back to Countdown to Destruction. This is our Leftovers podcast. We are looking back at The Leftovers, funnily enough. My name is Matt Waters. I am a first-time viewer. I have not seen beyond the 2 episodes we are discussing this time around. I am joined, as always, by Ben Phillips, who has seen all of The Leftovers and is giddy with excitement as we round out Season 2, I would imagine.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Episode 10, meaning the last 2 episodes of Season 2. Where do you go from killing off your protagonist and then bringing him back to life via a hotel assassination, Australian little girl Jeopardy? I don't even know what's happening anymore. So I think without any further ado, we should just get the fuck into it, because there's going to be a lot to talk about, especially half an hour from now. But 10:13. First broadcast, November 29th, 2015, written by Damon Lindelof and Monica Beletsky of Friday Night Lights note, that Peter Berg connection, yeah. Directed by Keith Gordon.
Keith Gordon's good, y'all.
Yes, he is. We open October 13th, 2000... Is it 11?
It is 2011.
2011 is the year of the departure. That date you will recognise as the day before the Great Departure. So Meg has lunch with her mother, who interrogates her about her upcoming wedding plans. They bicker about money. Meg excuses herself to the bathroom to go do cocaine, and when she comes back, her mother is unconscious on the floor with waiters attempting to administer CPR. Given we know her mother dies, you can guess how that works out. So White Lines playing as Meg does cocaine is as on the nose as anything could possibly be, but it's still a good song.
This is the show that took Where Is My Mind by the Pixies.
Made it theirs.
For a character who is seeing someone who isn't there, might be a figment of his imagination, and then played it at least 5 times throughout the season.
5. I think 2 regular and 3 piano cover.
Like, that is a ballsy move to do.
Meg's mother says the line, "When you have a cause, there's no stopping you," which, you know, foreshadowing. Well, it's not really foreshadowing when we've seen where she already ends up. It's sort of retroactive foreshadowing in some ways, as this is a flashback. But, you know, seeing these two, like, argue about who, you know, the money that, who owes who what, and, you know, we get the sense that they've established Meg as sort of the villain of this show now, in the present. And it all stems from, you know, losing her mother the day before the departure, so she was robbed of her right to grieve. But this is as far back as we get to go with her story, and she's already got a cocaine habit, so
yeah, like, her life is not good.
Happening there. Like,
her life isn't great. Like, she has to do cocaine to get through dinner with her mother, or lunch with her mother.
Yeah, twice in, like, not very many minutes.
Like, I'm sure there are some people who've got bad relationships with their mothers, but I don't know whether or not they'd resort to cocaine quite as liberally as she does.
She seems a perfectly nice woman. I mean, I guess that's the point, but the whole what's the date thing, oh, it's the 13th, well, that's unlucky, right? A check for tomorrow. The 14th. It's like, this is a little bit too cute for my liking, but you've got to establish the time frame, I suppose, for anyone who's not paying any attention. Yeah, it's that tragic thing of, oh, I've just got one more thing to tell you, and then you never get to find out what it is, and this will spur on where she goes from there. This entire opening scene is like a great big cliche, but not necessarily in a bad way, and it all contributes, so I'm fine with it being a cliche.
Yeah, like, it's a cliche, but it seems to know that it's a cliche. Like, it leans quite heavily in on the winky stuff, like the white lines playing during her doing cocaine, and the very pronounced, like, what date is it?
Oh, it's the 13th.
Yeah.
So yeah, because she never found out these words, we move forward by 2 years, I believe, and Meg and her fiancé, whose name I never bothered to remember because he was in 1 episode.
He was in more than 1.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, was he in the second? Of course he was in the second, because Kevin went to ask him where she was. They visit Miracle during its earliest days as a thing that's open to the public. They partake in the audio tour, and she visits Isaac to do a reading, asking, you know, what her mother was going to tell her. And then after a brief argument about the legitimacy of his powers, you know, his gift, I don't know what you want to call it, he complies, but we don't get to know what that was. So right away, I was it's cool seeing the tour from the perspective of, I don't know, it's like Jurassic Park before it all goes wrong, you know? Like, here's everyone, it's all great. And I feel in present day Jarden, even though, you know, it's been building to something, I feel from the moment we saw Jarden, it seemed like it was not quite as sunshine and roses as it is here, you know? Like, you don't... But that's because we've seen it from the perspective of people trying to live there and people that already live there. And this is purely from a tourist perspective, so you don't see people, like, arguing about wristbands and all of that stuff, but I dug seeing it as like a happy, smiley, it's a small world after all type affair.
Yeah, it's that slightly creepy, upsettling. Like,
Yeah,
like everything's all good. Like the wedding dress woman is reading the "What's Next" or "Who's Next" or whatever the title is of
What's Next with no question mark.
Yeah.
And one of the very first things I noted about Jarden in episode 6 of this podcast, that is the season 2 premiere, the big crack in the ground with a glass thing over it and the number 7. And I was like, you know, you said, oh, it's an audio tour. I was like, yeah, I get that, but what's the deal with this? And I get to find out. Big gas explosion in the sewage system on the day of the departure, which... That's what happened with Kevin. If you recall, he had his near-death experience that seemed to snap him out of his depression, and then too bad.
Interesting. Maybe something gas-related caused the Great Departure.
Sure. Ultramagnetic rays and fucking magical gases and who knows what else. So, you know, she goes to see Isaac, and like I think Isaac was a pretty fun character. Like, obviously he was there to facilitate something dark. But I think he was fun, and he continues to be here. Like, they mix up his routine. Rather than taking a handprint, she has to chew on something, and he, like, squishes it between his hands. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say, bro. And he understands her plight immediately. Like, the whole, oh, you're told you're lucky because you know where your mother went and why and all that. And he's like, oh, yeah, they fucking forget all about that the next day or whatever. So I like that. He kind of got it immediately.
Like, that's such a hard thing for someone to do, for someone to treat like the death of your mother as if it doesn't mean much in comparison. Like, oh, it's a better thing that happened to her.
Yeah, like, fuck you. This isn't a fucking competition.
Yeah, but you just know that that's how people have been treating her.
Absolutely. And he says, you know, when she asks him, and he's like, no matter what I say, you're going to be disappointed because it's not going to fix what's broken inside. How very GR-ish, you know? Like, it's about this kind of... There's something wrong inside of these people, and, you know, it's kind of senseless to move on. I don't know how I got to this GR connection. I wrote it down in my notes, but...
Well, I mean, it becomes obvious that, like, she's looking for something that's going to fill the hole inside her.
There you go. You're saving me as always.
And hearing him say these words, like, you get a feeling for like why she goes to the GR, but then she doesn't find what she wants in the GR and starts to turn it into what she wants it to be.
And again, it hints at, you know, there was something wrong before this, because, you know, him saying what's broken inside, I took that to mean not just necessarily by her mother dying. Something about Meg's personality and the way she processes bad news, I think, is broken, was what I took from it. And it's why she ended up where she did, because we've all read The Killing Joke, but I don't truly believe that anybody just turns into a psychopath when something traumatic happens to them. I think there is a certain sort of set of imbalances that are not harmful, and then when they get that push, they go that way. That's my opinion anyway, but that's how I took all of this. He proves his gifts by reciting the walnut story, and, you know, whenever anything supernatural happens on The Leftovers, we must try and come up with a realistic explanation. He could have Googled her, like a waiter who was interviewed after this happened could have said the detail about the walnuts, and he could have Googled her before she came down or something. Or he's a psychic, who knows? Yeah,
like there is both of these potentials, which is like, how fake are we willing to say this thing goes?
Exactly. By the by, I'm not against anything being supernatural. I just, if they're going to try and play an angle of everything can be explained, I want them to try. So,
I don't think they try and explain it.
I guess they're not taking that stance. It's just, you can, depending on what you're down for. Like, if you're pissed off by the idea that it's all actually magical and you don't want it to, and you want there to be an explanation, that is there for you if you want it. And then if you are 100% down to clown and you want to go all supernatural, then that's also there for you. So I like that. So Meg leaves. We don't get to find out what was said, and I think that's best. And it plays into what Isaac was even saying, that, like, it doesn't matter what she fucking said. Like, it's probably some inane bullshit.
Yeah, like, it's going to be like, oh, I've joined the gym, or, like,
Yeah.
something like that. And
I don't approve of your fiancé. Like, I don't know.
I can't believe it took her 3 years to react to that, actually.
I know. Yeah, so she leaves, says that Isaac was a fraud, goes to have a big cry on a bench. I don't know where he is while she's doing this, but...
Fiance,
yeah.
I think he's just gone off to enjoy the rest of the audio tour.
Yeah, it's a weird fucking place. Like, he comes back with a bag, like, from a gift shop or something. I don't know, but... So while she's crying on a bench, who does she meet but one Evie Murphy, who attempts to comfort her. It doesn't... I don't know, it works to a mixed degree, and Meg leaves. Miracle. So Evie with her, nonsense about carrots and how you can't cry if you're eating a baby carrot.
You can't cry if you eat a baby carrot.
What delightful nonsense. I've
Which is
missed
true.
Evie. I have missed her. How old is she meant to be here?
I think it's a similar aging down process that they went for with Jill last year, where
less believable.
Less believable.
Because she
back,
looks exactly the fucking same.
yeah, this is supposed to be 2 years
2011.
ago.
Yeah.
So we're saying that she was 17 in the episode that we've seen, because she's a twin.
This was 2013 because it's 2 years after the departure.
Yeah, so
And
she's
what
about
year is it meant to be in the present? 2015.
2015. So we're saying she's about potentially 15 years old at this point.
Okay, then. I like the symmetry of Meg telling her the broken pencil joke that she then goes on to tell John. I like that kind of shit, unlikely sources and tying up that kind of stuff together. It hints at something, because when I was just watching this live, I now know where it goes. I was like, oh, that's cool. She did come back. I got my wish. And I was like, much like with Holy Wayne, I was like, if this is it, that's fine. And of course, it will go somewhere far greater than this. But, getting those two characters some FaceTime with each other. So in the present, kind of, through some incredibly slick editing, because Meg gets on a bus, and then we are from the viewpoint of a bus driver steering through some streets. The GR stop a bus, and Meg gets on board in her GR regalia, so that tells us it's not whenever this was anymore. Tosses a grenade on the floor and has it sealed shut, and then walks away with a little wry smirk on her face. She defiantly rebukes, like, a reprimand from a trio of GR, like, senior members, which, by the way, is kind of bullshit to their whole there's no organisation thing. She states that they need to do more, denies that she's planning some big action on the 14th involving plastic explosives. So a lot here. Dark as all fuck when she throws that grenade, because when she throws that grenade, you then start to hear screaming children. I don't think you ever see a child, but
You see them when
it's
they
sort
run
of
up
like
the door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you never see close-ups on children's faces or anything.
Nope.
And it ties back to... It evoked to me when Nora went to New York City and a member of the GR there put a grenade in her hand. And again, that to me hints at intercommunication between chapters. And we then get that outright confirmed when she goes to these GR people and they're like, are you contacting the heads of houses again? So that confirmed my theory that Meg is taking something from each one and banding it all together, as it were, but not with permission as such. But yeah, her throwing that fucking grenade, the cold look on her face as she walks off, and she says, "Oh, no one got hurt," but before you hear that, conceivably, even though it is quite a while between her throwing it and the camera cutting away, she could have killed a bus full of school children.
Right, so I was intrigued. So the scene where she walks away,
Yeah.
did you think that it was going to blow up?
No.
No, you
Because
didn't get that
the
tension.
grenade that Nora was given was a dud, so I assumed it was the same thing.
It's just they linger on that shot of her walking away for a while, and
Yeah,
she does.
It can't be an accident. It is very evocative of the Joker walking away from the hospital in The Dark Knight. And
Yeah.
I remember you saying years ago, before I had any interest in this show, that Liv Tyler basically did an audition to be the Joker or whatever. And I finally saw the scene in question. Even though I kind of knew about it because you told me I can't remember if you told me she blows up a bus full of kids or whatever, but I knew this scene existed in one way or another.
But she
still effective though.
Yeah, she just completely nails it. Like I said before we started recording, this might be the best that I've ever seen Liv Tyler in anything.
Easily.
And I know her filmography, apart from Lord of the Rings, isn't the greatest success story in the world.
Hey man, when she says "Daddy" at the end of Armageddon when Bruce Willis dies, I cried. So say what you want, she brought me to tears.
I mean, yeah, but she was doing that because like her actual daddy was probably on the set.
Yeah, well, you know. And that edit I mentioned was great because it's like, oh yeah, off we drive, and then like, oh wait, we're not in Miracle. Oh shit.
Yeah. But yeah, like she is so alive during this, and I mean, you get the story of like behind the scenes where she just kind of gave up trying to figure out what her motivation was and just going along with it, and
pure chaos, chaotic evil.
Yeah, she is channeling something in this role, and it is glorious, and I want more people to use.
And someone should cast her in like a full-on realization of this. But
yeah, like I want her as a villain in something. Like I'd make her the villain in a Mission Impossible movie or something like that, and just ham it up episode.
Matt Reeves is Batman. He said it's going to be new and cool. Fucking prove it. Gender bend Joker.
Or you make her Harley Quinn.
So yeah, this big empty house that has the GR in it, and like they go to write, and she's like, "If you want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation." And you know, I love this just consistent piece by piece dropping of what we knew the GR as in season 1, and they give her this sort of telling off, and I think it is a bit rich to like tell her off for communicating between houses when clearly this represents some kind of hierarchy we didn't know existed. And they say something about the incident with the dogs, and I don't know if we're going to find out what that is, but it intrigued me.
I don't think we ever find out what the incident
because Tommy sees a dog later. Like I think a member of the GR like gets out of a car and puts a dog on the ground and then drives off or something. I don't know. Meg's up to some shit with dogs.
I mean, maybe she's taken a leaf out of Dean's book and is just murdering people's dogs now.
It's weird that I somewhat side with Meg as she kind of drags them about their philosophy of like, you know, because she's like, why would I smoke a cigarette when I can put it out in their fucking eye? Like, I don't agree with like the level of violence she's calling for here by any means, but just like her just giving them what for about their whole deal and being like, so we'll stone each other to death, but we're scared of the authorities or whatever, and like asking, why don't we recruit kids? Why don't we hurt people? You know, while I don't agree with the lengths she ends up going to and all of this, I was like, oh god, I'm on Meg's side in a conversation.
Yeah, you just hate the GR so much.
I do, I really do. It's just their ambiguity, you know, and like her challenging them on that. I'm like, yeah, fine, go for it. Let's see what you've got to offer instead. Oh, not anything that much better, but at least you tried. Yeah, and part of this conversation, she learns that Tommy has continued to be successful in luring away members of the GR. So she goes to one of his events where he's offering hugs. She takes one. This sort of shakes Tommy up a bit, so he fails to show up to his next event. Has a big argument with Laurie about their operation, accuses her of using him to absolve her guilt for leaving the family, and then she slaps him and he storms out. So the tension as Meg just stands at the back of the room watching Tom, and then like takes a seat, and then she's like the second person to take a hug, not the first obviously, because you know she's coming for one, and then like, you know, silently leaning in, and then she says, I can do this for real, and the whole thing is just, you're like, what's she gonna do? And I think that's amazing. Like, to go from this character that I'm just like, you're pointless, to you're annoying, to you're stupid, to, and now we're at a point where I'm like, oh god, what's she gonna do next? I think that's a wonderful turnaround for her.
Yeah, like it's like this whole episode kind of makes it worth it having Liv Tyler, because she is like, in season 1 she's like, oh, you're the biggest star.
I wasn't getting it. I was like, you've gone out and gotten a name actress, like, for better or worse, she is a name in movies, and you know, she's got a scene here and a scene there, or like early on it seems like she's going to be a big character, like she's the newest recruit to the GR, and you see her going through the training, and then they're like, fuck it, you get like 1 minute per episode, and then she has her big rape scene and then vanishes again. I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? And now it's like, oh, okay, you got to let her be the star of a little film, and regardless of where we go from here, at least in my opinion, you've got your your money's worth out of her.
Yeah, like no matter what they do with her in season 3, like Liv Tyler has more than earned her paycheck and more than earned what she was going to do this season. And I think it's one of the most interesting things that season 2 does, is that it doesn't feel the need to put every character in every episode.
No.
And like it's one of my big issues with Game of Thrones' structure at this point, which is that again.
Now what are they doing? Now what are they doing? Now what are they doing?
Yeah, like every episode you spend 5 minutes with the characters, and it's like, wouldn't this be better if I know a Game of Thrones season is structured differently in that things are happening at the same time and different events and different stories affect other things. But I would much rather be like, right, this is the Dany episode of the season. Yeah. We've gone all out, and here's the fucking dragon, and here's what she does, and you don't see her again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about the episode. It was one of the episodes that people rave about. Whole thing was on the wall the whole episode, and I think there's one later on where I was like, this is all going to be in Marine, and then it wasn't. But like the first 25 minutes were, or something like that.
Yeah, the rule of thumb, the best episodes of Game of Thrones tend to be the ones that take place in one location. Like the only other time is like stuff like Reigns of Castamere, when they spend good chunks of an episode in one location.
For more Game of Thrones talk, maybe stay tuned to The Real World next year.
Ooh.
Is all I'll say. Laurie and Tommy arguing about taking money from people, and Laurie asserts this wouldn't work unless they paid for it and stuff like that, and she might be right, I don't know. She is a trained psychiatrist, but there is also something very shady about this, that they are knowingly taking money and offering something they know isn't real. Well, I mean, I guess it's real if it is to you, but...
I mean, that's the thing, is like, do you think that therapists, everything that they do, they know is going to work?
I guess that's a fair point, and like as a therapist, it's quite it would be a bit rich to like feel that way, because, I mean, ultimately, she can theorize all she wants about like what will help a person. She's fundamentally just being paid to say a bunch of shit for an hour or whatever, so I guess it's no different than what Holy Wayne did and what they're doing now. But yeah, it's a good tense arc, because we already know that Tommy left Laurie, and seeing how it happened, and like when she gets up to smack it, and she like fucking smacks him around the eye, like that's a good slap when you see one of those. And he stands up and she looks physically afraid of him, because you forget sometimes Tommy's a big dude, kind of. We've seen him be very bad at fighting, but haven't we all with all of them? Just that moment of she slaps him and then immediately regrets it, and like I don't know if she's like scared of him, but it's just more of a realization as he stands up, like, I shouldn't have done that. But
yeah, I've hit my son, and I have fundamentally damaged whatever this relationship is that we have.
I'm kind of glad he called her on leaving your whole fucking family and stuff. We've done this dance about why people join the GR a lot, but someone said it to her, so good for him. Even though he wasn't there when it happened, it's nice that he's aware.
Why the hell have I only just looked up Chris Silka's Wikipedia page before now?
I don't know. What?
I didn't realise who he was engaged to.
Who?
Paris Hilton.
What? Why?
Yeah, that's real.
Wow.
He's engaged to Paris Hilton.
I gather she's actually... We're not here to speculate on the character content of Paris Hilton. Tommy angrily confronts that same GR chapter that caught him before. He demands to see Meg. During their conversation, he reveals to her that his family went to Jarden, and she laughs deliriously because she is literally a supervillain now. She drives the pair of them down to enact her mysterious plan. He sleeps rough after his little breakup with his mother. He's on a bench. He has been drinking. We already covered the thing with the dog. It's weird. So he storms this little GR place, and he's like screaming at everyone, and like again you get to see him be kind of physically intimidating. Like it doesn't end well for him. He gets the shit kicked out of him again, but like for a while he is like up in people's faces and somewhat scary, and where's Meg? Blow the whistle that brings Meg, and all that stuff. And it's like, you are a troubled young man, aren't you?
Yeah, I feel sorry for Whistle Girl.
Yeah, because not cool, man. I mean, he doesn't like put hands on her or anything, but still, it's not cool what he does.
No.
And when Meg turns up, looking a bit like annoyed, like, oh, what do you want? Like, I'm busy doing GR things, man. And he's like, you said you could do it for real, take my pain away. And she's like, why don't you just hug yourself? And it's like, oh, girl. Like, calling him on his bullshit. And then he says, I want to be part of this. She says, you don't understand this. And it's, they get into it about family, and that's how, he lets slip that they're in Jordan. And I don't know, I mean, you've said to me that, like, you feel that on some level Tommy does actually just want a nice little happy family, but, like, isn't able to admit that to himself or whatever. Because I was left thinking, like, he didn't say he wants to go to Jordan. Like, why would he go? Like, other than to go with her? And it's, I don't know, I wasn't getting the sense that he wanted to go anywhere near. I mean, he loves Jill, but...
Yeah, I think there's three parts here. There's fuzzy character logic to start with. I don't think Tommy's any time been like the best sketch character on this show, and a lot of this does feel like we just want all the characters together in one location for the finale, which fair enough. Like, Tommy isn't the strongest corner of the show. He's only really been in 2 or 3 episodes
They
this
just
year.
can't pick a lane with him. It's like, is he going to be, the slightly trapped in his situation escort for a girl he's in love with? Is he going to be the guy that smashes the GR? Is he going to sympathise with the GR? Is he this lovely young man who's got a good relationship with his sister and his mother? And, it's like, pick one. And I feel like they shift him every time I see him, and that's making me not really connect with him.
Yeah, that's fair. But then the other ones are, I do think he wants to be with his family in some way, and I also do think he's got some level of Stockholm Syndrome when it comes to Meg.
For sure. I mean, he went for her. He didn't, he's like fixated on her.
And I think like those three things in combination, I mean, the first one doesn't really make it believable, but like I can understand why he goes on this trip, even if I don't fully think that it's like the thing that makes the most sense.
Yeah. And like, her phone rings while they're driving. He's like, and she's like, get it for me. It's not like, oh, hey, can you? It's all very, like, it is very master and servant, like, the way she treats him. And he asks, why did you fuck me? And then she responds by pulling over and, like, getting a drink with him, and they talk about being orphans. Or, well, he says about how Kevin isn't his biological father, and she talks about how her mother remarried, and they share these stories, and they kiss, and they dance. And then she just says, I wanted to get you pregnant, that's why I fucked you, Tom. And it's like, given the things that happen on this show, I can't entirely not take it literally, but yeah, I mean, I just assume she just wants to fuck with him. Like, she just wants to mess with everyone.
She made him pregnant with an idea.
She put an idea in him and it will grow. Except that doesn't really happen. Unless it does, when it just wasn't what she meant it to be.
We have skipped over the most important part, though.
What?
Her smile when she finds out that his family's in Jordan.
Oh yeah, and she's just laughing deliriously. Yeah,
her face lights up, and I never want to see Liv Tyler smile ever again in anything, because it's just terrifying. Like, this is the other combination of like her doing the audition for the Joker. It's her doing the grenade, and then just this smile and maniacal laughter and stuff like that as she realizes that she's going to get back at Kevin and Nora for whatever reason, because obviously the last time she saw Kevin, she was tied to a lamppost.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. So they reach a Texan chapter of the GR where Meg orders a young man who saw something he shouldn't have, potentially. And I don't even think he did, but she has him stoned to death. She heads into this little shanty town outside Jordan without Tommy. She meets Matt. They share a tense drink. So this chapter don't wear white. They do smoke, and they are silent until she's like, fucking knock it off. So, interesting to see that, I have speculated about how big is the GR, like, how cohesive is it, and like, this lot don't wear white, so it's not that.
Yeah, they don't wear white, but I think that's Meg's idea more than anything.
Okay.
They're clearly stretched from New York to Texas. Where is it that they say that the main chapter say that they're protesting?
Oh, fuck. I had this in my head, it's gone. Sorry. Somewhere hills or somewhere like...
Yeah, I can't remember where it is off the top of my head, but obviously, like, it's big enough that they want to get every single GR member to go protest this one particular thing.
I want to say it's somewhere in New England, but I don't know.
I mean, it would make sense. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out the GR was like a fundamentally East Coast kind of thing, and obviously the GR is big enough for them to... like, they have organised protests in different places, and it's probably a lot bigger than the Heroes Day protest that they did the year before in Mapleton, which was just about 30 people with some signs.
Yeah, they've been working on their signs all week. They're definitely going to be there. She tells Tommy to go away after bringing him down here, again, just fucking with him, basically. They have this conversation, and it's like, you know, Matt being the, like, naively nice dipshit he is a lot of the time, and it's like, oh, it's Matt Jameson from Mapleton, and she just she genuinely has no clue for a minute. And then in the middle of their conversation, she says that they're here for the same reason, or she denies it's a coincidence because, you know, this is a place where, of course, we would meet because this place is safe. And it's like, I see what you did there. Like, he's here for the safety, she's here to end the safety. Because she talks about how there had to be some place where the GR wouldn't work. And I guess she wants to make it work in a place where it wouldn't work.
I mean, the thing is, she's proved that it does work, because she's... Oh, we'll get into that.
I like that he catches on halfway. You know, like, I give him a lot of shit about being naive and about being too trusting and stuff. He does seem to clock in the middle of this conversation that, you know, she's being less than honest and that she is maybe not the nice person he wants to believe she is, or whatever. I can't pile on that too much, I guess.
I mean, he figures it out and he gets a couple of good singers.
Yeah, he does. And, like, he needles her about her mother and stuff. And she questions why none of them are doing anything to get in. And he says, I don't know. And she says, I do. You're waiting for me.
I do want to say, the shot they choose for Meg beating up Matt, when they do the little kind of, like, flash cut that they do... is just a wonderful shot, because they got the paper
with the paper flying in the air, yeah.
I don't remember it being that good looking.
They've made season 1 look super pretty by doing flashbacks. Like the fire when Laurie was talking to the publisher and stuff, like that all looked super good as well. So Tommy snoops around this little GR chapter while everyone's asleep. For whatever reason, this super secret barn isn't locked, even though they killed someone for, like, being near it. He finds this mysterious camper van or trailer or whatever the fuck it is, breaks it open, and discovers none other than Evie and her friends in GR attire, alive and well. Second departure debunked officially now. You're expecting it to be full of explosives given what was said earlier in the episode and, like, you know, her general plot. Like, you would not have seen this coming, that they had Evie in a fucking trailer outside of town. And they really tease it out by, like, having the camera zoomed in on him, on his face, and it's like, you know, waiting as long as they can to show you what's in there. And then they do the cool thing of, like, him saying, who are you? Because of course he doesn't know who the fuck they are. So it's a big moment for us, but he's just like, who are you? And they write, it doesn't matter. So, thank God that little mystery is solved finally. The Rapture is a one-time event. We don't get second departures. And... yeah, I mean, we'll talk. I guess we'll talk about this in a minute. But yeah, this bombshell that Evie is alive and there was no departure, and she's in the GR, and, you know, they met before, and that's why that pays off. Big bold stuff. Not as bold as killing your protagonist and bringing him back to life in a hotel and stuff, but, you know, big.
Yep.
Even though this is a Meg-centric episode, and I hate Meg, I actually really like this. I think twice now you speculated I wasn't going to like the next episode, and I did. The first time was that Laurie and Tommy focused one, and then this one with Meg. But, you know, I liked it a great deal.
Yeah, your least favourite episode so far has been the Matt episode.
Well, not of the whole show.
Not of the whole show, but of season 2.
Probably BJ and the AC is my least favourite episode overall.
Oh, why do you hate BJ and the AC?
Because aside from some funny fucking stuff with a tiny little baby, it's a fucking dumbass. Anyway, let's do it. Let's talk about the finale. It's called I Live Here Now, which is said by Kevin. Aired December 6th, 2015. Written by Damon Lindelof and Tom Perrotta. Might as well. You started this thing, you should finish it. Directed by Mimi Leader. So yeah, closing with the ace team here. So we open with a recap of what actually happened the night Evie went missing. The girls head to the lake. They stage their disappearance, but not before witnessing Kevin jump into the lake with a cinder block in his hands. Obviously, that's the thing I want to talk about most, but showing the little awkward exchange between John and Kevin again to open is a nice little thing to do, because, you know, you sense the tension in episode 1 when you sense some evil to John, but you don't know the extent of it. It's even juicier now, given everything that's happened between episode 1 and episode 10, and, like, knowing that handprint is going to come back positive and all that. Like, I thought that was a smart decision to include, like, not limit it strictly to Evie, but to show that little exchange. I thought was good.
Yeah, So watching this episode again, I was like, how long do Evie and the girls take to get to the lake?
True, because Kevin goes from saying goodnight while they're there to, I don't know.
To hypothetically going to Virgil's trailer, finding out that he has to kill himself, and then going to the lake himself. So unless the girls stop,
I don't know. Maybe they went to get supplies, or
that's the only thing that I can think of. But I was just watching
that aspect breaks it a little bit.
But then we get the amazing moment of Kevin.
Oh God, that is so... What a great shot of him just standing there, holding his little block, and them just not knowing how to react. And then he just...
I don't even know. It's like, but they don't care either, which is
he
like
just
the
plops in. He's just gone. It's like, what? This is amazing. Yeah, you mentioned it before, how they were driving in episode 1. They were driving, but just completely stoic. Like no emotion whatsoever as this like loud music plays, and we get that again, but Evie turns the music off and wipes away a tear from one of them. And see, this is the thing, they essentially fangirl the GR, right? Because no one departed in Jarden. There is no GR. They presumably found out about them on the internet and just decided, God, I identify with that so hard.
Well, I don't even know if it's that. I imagine they kept in contact with Meg in some way.
How? Because
I mean, I don't know. Like Meg
she
met
met
this
her
girl
once. Why would she know she was special? I don't know.
Well, I mean, maybe they had a long conversation about parents and stuff like that, because Evie's, obviously later on this episode we find out some more context behind Evie's reaction to her father going to prison for 9 years and stuff like that. And so they both have absent fathers or absent parental figures, and they basically just want to kind of...
I understand that, but I took it more as they made contact with the GR and then Meg found her that way, rather than Meg lured her into the GR. Because why would Meg remember this random girl from this random town? How would she get in touch with her?
I don't know. I'm just thinking that there probably was some kind of contact between the two of them. Her sensing a kindred spirit in someone who feels lost, and then saying, "Hey,
hey, you sent me the trailer for season 3. I've seen them standing together, and you get the idea that this is her new protege or whatever." But I don't know, just the way I took it, I was like, oh God, you're being fangirls on Tumblr about the G fucking R, and I hate you now, but we'll see.
Impressive. She was quite high up, if I recall, in your...
Yeah, welcome back to the list. You're not going to do very well this week. The CG on the lake draining isn't amazing. What is amazing is the transition from the lake draining to Kevin digging his way out of the ground, as we saw at the end of episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
They fucking crushed that. TV CGI is always bad, we know this, but yeah,
Leftovers makes the decision to do a lot of their CGI at night.
That's wise.
Yeah.
Lighting is the hardest part.
I know. I mean, I was watching an episode of Better Call Saul from the latest season, and there's a scene of someone on a bridge.
Yeah.
I was just like, ooh, this doesn't look good. This is normally a very pretty show.
The season 2 premiere of The Flash was on TV just before this started, and there's a scene with him running up the side of a building with a big tornado happening. I was like, this looks fucking awful. And that was in the day, but hey. Yeah, so we return to where we last saw Kevin emerging from that dirt. Michael states that he was dead for 8 hours. Kevin...
Not 3 days, as the birds have to be. So maybe the bigger the person, the less time they have to be dead for.
Kevin confirms that Patty is gone, and after a conversation about his experience in the hotel, afterlife, whatever, he says he needs to talk to John because he remembers seeing Evie. Now, the irony of him having a perfect recall of the afterlife but not being able to remember this sleepwalking would have been just a little bit too much, so it is a nice, convenient, unlocking of his sleepwalking memories. I don't know if he remembers everything he sleptwalked, but he certainly remembers seeing Evie, and I guess that's why we saw it again.
Yeah, it's one of those nice... It's the nice breaking of the point of view tradition of the season is you start with Evie, then you move to Kevin... But the point of views kind of blend together, and they do that quite a bit.
They juggle everyone in this final episode. I think they do it really well. You asked me what I wanted to see, and I said how I didn't want anyone to sort of get shortchanged, and I sort of wanted everyone to get a moment, and they take that advice I've given years after they made it very literally, and they do in fact give everyone kind of a moment.
Yeah, this is this does run slightly longer than the normal episode of the show.
It felt,
but they do. Everyone gets serviced.
Yes. But I like that little conversation with Michael and Kevin. Michael's a good boy. So it is the morning of October 14th, the 4-year anniversary. Yeah, the authorities tell John that the print from the car is a match with Kevin. He grabs a gun to go confront him. Kevin returns home just as this is all happening. And he calmly agrees to go with John and these sheriffs. So before these people come a knocking, Erica forcefully opens John's birthday present from Evie. And it's a little cricket. And, John assumes it's the one that was bothering him in episode 1, and Erica confirms, hey, that one was chirping after you left, buddy. So it's a different one. And he's like, now, why would she do that? And she says, because you wouldn't let it go. And he delivers this, fuck you, Erica. And it's the least angry he's been all season. It's the least scary he's been all season. He's perfectly calm. But there's just something so hurtful about the frankness he says that to her, and you can see she's wounded by that. I think it was a great line reading from him.
Yeah, for people who haven't had quite so much to do together this season, quite often their scenes have been separate from one another. This is a really nice
representative of how they are very far apart in their whatever. Kevin coming home and just naively waltzing up and being like, did the print match? Oh, okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, we can go wherever you want to go, bro. He's like, we should go somewhere neutral. It's like, you're on the fucking street in front of witnesses. Where's more neutral than this? And Kevin is now all zen because he's returned to life, but fucking stupid move by him to leave the safety of Michael and Laurie and Jill. And yeah. Laurie answers the door when John goes around and it's like, oh, hello, who are you? And then Erica and Laurie do a little awkward wave that was very reminiscent of Kevin waving to John in the first episode. I liked that a lot. Laurie says to Jill, you're going to have to talk to me eventually. And I was like, fucking go, Jill, when she turns around and was like, squeeze me, hopping off on her for that comment. I loved Jill for that.
Yeah, because Laurie immediately realises that was
that was
worst.
Dumb.
That was the worst phrasing I could have had for saying that.
Yes. And when Jill is basically telling her, she's trying to be all I don't even give a shit. And then, she's, angrily wiping some tears away. As soon as she feels them, she's, wiping it because she doesn't want to let up that she is still, of course she still loves her mother and is, emotionally affected by her, but just very telling of where Jill stands on the whole Laurie sitch.
Yeah, you get the nice moment of Kevin tells them not to go anywhere, and so when Laurie says if you want me to leave, I'll leave, and then Jill's like, no, Dad wants you to stay, and it's you're not saying that for Dad, you're saying that for you.
She has such an interesting relationship with Kevin because at almost every turn she is somewhat hostile to him, but then in a moment like this, I don't know if she's just saying, I don't know, maybe she genuinely is just respecting Kevin's wish there, but yeah, and in season 1 she seemed to desperately want Laurie back, and it was kind of a situation where it's I don't like you, Dad, I want Mum back, and now she's given Laurie shit, and it's good, go Jill, you have changed. Just sort of taking stock of what she did.
One of the Garvey kids realises which parents been rooting for them for the last 4 years.
Fuck yeah. Laurie playing with Mary's bed was an unusual choice to make. Did Amy Brenneman just think they'd called cut and she'd just fuck around with the props and they just kept filming or something? Very strange. Funny though. So Nora takes Mary back to where Mary and Matt were staying. She is upset by a radio show that is discussing the departure, so she smashes it, which immediately triggers an earthquake. I say triggers, an earthquake happens immediately afterwards. And Mary wakes up and starts talking again. So Nora takes her to see Matt. They talk about the pregnancy. Thank God she fucking confirms it was consensual. And Matt wants her to go back into Jarden for her safety. So when she turns that radio on, it is the song that we heard from No Room at the Inn, and she's like,
I don't even think it's a radio. I think it's just
it's the C. Yeah, he plays it. Yeah, he's the same song, the same whatever. Yeah. So her changing that because she doesn't like it. I thought that was cute. And then I don't even know why she listened, because you knew from the first sentence of that talk show that she wasn't going to enjoy it, because it's a guy talking about how he wants him and his wife to have another baby to move on from the departure and all this, and yeah, she smashes it and she says, fix that, Jesus. I love Nora so much, even if she left Kevin. And then that immediately leading to an earthquake, I thought was just tremendous. Because, you know, supernatural stuff or not, there has been an earthquake before something significant 100% of the time. So, yeah, and just Matt and Mary just being elated together as they discuss the pregnancy, and like her just being like, when we had sex, of course they remember. Like, oh,
yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
In 2 episodes worth of like very memorable smiles, like we do have. There's a lot of smiling in these 2 episodes, and it's really, really nice, even if it does get a lot darker from this point onwards. But the smile that Christopher Eccleston gives when he sees that Mary's awake and he gets to tell her that they're pregnant and all the rest of it is just glorious.
And her like beaming as Nora's wheeling her towards him and stuff, like coming around the corner. Like, admittedly, I haven't seen much of the 2 of them together, but like I like Matt infinitely more with Mary around. And you even said that like you get this sense that he is lesser without her, or like he's more like upbeat, or there's less of a weight on it. I can't remember how you phrased it.
Yeah, like you look back at the season 1 finale when he gets out of the checkup for his like brain tumor, and he's just beaming, and they go off to go get drunk together, and that's the most alive we've seen Matt. Really, is when he's with her, and
at the party and stuff like that.
Yeah, like after his episode where he has been constantly shit upon for being the good Samaritan, he gets his win here, and that's what's nice. He is rewarded.
He was tested, and it all paid off. If this is what it's going to take for me to like Matt, fine. I'm glad Mary woke up, because I don't know, I don't know. But while Nora's giving them some time together, a random woman heckles her and knows it is not, that Lily is not her baby. Put a pin on that. So Meg enacts her plan. She drives a trailer containing Evie and her friends through security onto the bridge after claiming it was explosives. Just before she does this, her and Tom, they do this, thing where Nora walks by and then Tom walks into shot, and then Meg turns up, and they're talking about Nora, and Meg says, "She sprayed me with a hose once. I liked her." And it's like, yay for like good random lines of dialogue in this show. Tom talks about how like they hate families, they want to end families, which was what Patty or Senator Levin confirmed to because that was Kevin's understanding. So we don't know that's how the GR feel, but Meg completely contradicts it and is like, "No, Tom, that's not the point at all. Family is everything." That's good stuff. As you pointed out, the police not immediately shooting a black woman when she in that situation is the most unrealistic thing in the show. Yeah, like Evie stepping out onto that bridge with everyone watching is high tension. Speaking of high tension, John takes Kevin to the animal detainment unit, offers to let him have his dog in exchange for Evie's whereabouts. Kevin confirms that she staged her departure, says he knows about Virgil. After speculating maybe Evie did this because she doesn't love John, fucking stupid Kevin, John shoots Kevin and walks out.
Which way do you want to go about it?
There's a lot here, so I mean, we can't avoid the fact that, like, his denial about the Virgil thing, like, shut up, man, he didn't do anything to me. Like, that strong, like, toxic masculinity, the way he plays that, the response to a sort of sexual trauma and a homosexual sexual trauma is great for the character of John. Like, I feel in this one episode, he does so fucking much to be sympathetic, even though I found this information out already and was like, nah, that doesn't give him a pass. And even though he shoots Kevin, he has so many moments in this episode where I'm like, okay, I like you, John Murphy.
That's the thing, is like, this show is so good at the character stuff that even if someone is painted badly, they aren't like so what? So we've got Kevin, dog murderer.
Yes.
You've come around on. We've got Patty, who, leader of the GR, ends up becoming fun ghost like partner. Meg, who
is the Joker.
Meg as the Joker, and now John as sympathetic victim of
child
abuse.
It's seeing it from his side, like I heard this from other characters, but he was detached from it, and all I've seen from him is just him being horrible. But to actually see his response when confronted with this stuff, and like, he says Michael wouldn't do that when he learns that he took Kevin to see Virgil, and when he's saying, why would she do this? Like, she loved her mother, she loved her brother. And then he pauses a really long time before it feels like a long time before he says, she loved me. And I wondered if he was even going to say that, like, maybe he's, like, aware that he's a horrible man or whatever. It's like, but she loved those two. But no, he says, and she loved me.
That
but
9 years in prison is
a
fundamentally long time in a child's development.
It sure is. And, you know, he says, take a fucking guess. And he has this quivering lip, and it's all very, like... It seems to come from the same place as, like, Kevin having those anxiety moments about Jill and, like, you know, maybe she'd be better off without you, and you know, that kind of stuff. It seemed to be coming from that wheelhouse. And
yeah. The one thing I'm disappointed in is that we never get to see John reacting to the news that Virgil died.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because obviously, like, there's a scene later on in the episode where Michael kind of, like, skirts around the fact that
he won't see him again,
Yeah, like, Erica's dad has committed suicide.
Yeah. I think he would cry. That's my prediction. Yes. So Kevin got shot.
Kevin got shot real good. Like, right into where Smorgans are.
We'll see what happens with that. So John steps outside, immediately learns Evie's back, and is like, oh shit, I shot a white dude over this. So he rushes to the bridge. He's prevented from advancing due to this bomb threat that has been made. Like, Evie's holding up a sign that says 1 hour throughout all of this, by the by, and like there's a scoreboard that says... You know, because it was counting down to the 14th, and now it's got like 1 hour on the clock and all that stuff. When all this happens, like the shantytown like erupts with praise. They're like, "Yeah, blow up the bridge, man!" Like, even though they wouldn't be able to get in if this happened, but never mind.
If it collapses, it might cause a little ramp that they can run up.
True, that would be very convenient demolition, but hey. So John runs to fetch Erica from church, and she actually manages to break through the security line when no one else could, and she tries to communicate with Evie. So we get this scene of Michael and Erica in the church. I will actually say Erica might be the person who doesn't get as much of a moment, but she gets a little one. But yeah, Michael and Erica are in this church, and Michael sort of interrupts the sermon to confess that we got this story in episode 1 that I failed to sort of include in our show when we were discussing that episode. But this story is told about how when they were little, Evie like filled a bath with water until it overflowed, and Erica like sprinted upstairs and was like, "Why did you do this?" And I think she said like to see what would happen or something. Or I can't remember what she said, but she gives this like delightful child answer or whatever. Michael says this is bullshit. He was the one that turned the water on because Evie was crying over their father being in prison. Michael's great, man. Like I kept waiting for like something to happen with Michael to make me not like him. Like he was going to say or do something, but this story is great, and like what a wonderful little scene for him. It almost feels out of place in the finale, but I wouldn't want them to take it away from him.
No, I think it gives good enough context for John, Evie, Michael, and Erica. Like in terms of character growth, it's a nice little calm moment because we are in the middle of like the main character's just been shot and left for dead on the floor, and the daughter has just arrived back. Like we know we're going to hit some high tension things, so it's a nice little kind of like breaker.
Yeah, and like,
because we also have to remember that on the ground level, Nora and Matt are kind of going like, we need to get into town.
Yeah,
now
get Mary back in there, or like get in there generally because we may not be able to. Yeah, he says how we are I can't remember how many of Jarden. We are not spared because he says while no one went on the 14th, people leave. Generally, like, I guess that's our message here. People do leave. Like John went to prison, it affected Evie, and it led to everything she's doing now. But
like Virgil has committed suicide. Like no matter how you break it, they can say that they've got this mantra of like we are the 9,000, however many.
I think it's 6,000. Whatever.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, like that's not the number of the population of Jarden at this point.
Yeah, people are dying. People are leaving. Like it doesn't. Just because no one departed doesn't mean that you never lose anyone. Is the idea there.
We shouldn't discount that death is still a thing.
Of course.
In this post-departure world.
Doesn't Meg know it? When Erica does break through and she's like trying to get to... Evie like won't make eye contact. She's like staring off into the distance, won't respond. I don't know if I am imagining this, but I feel Erica slightly got through to her. I feel she tries to sign at her, because we see them signing in episode 1. And I could have just completely imagined it could just be frantic hand-waving and whatnot. But I feel she was trying to sign at her, and that makes Evie almost respond. But no, she stands fast, she won't leave. Like, you see even Erica trying to drag her at one point, and she sort of breaks free.
I love, so Jasmine Savoy Brown's performance in this scene is really good, because
she has a bit. I don't mean this in a creepy dude saying a girl's pretty way. I just mean, like, from a camera pointed at something perspective, she is very, like, camera friendly. And I can tell she would be a director's muse, as it were.
Yeah, like her face, because it's like you can't tell whether or not you're imagining the fact that she wants to break, or whether or not that's just her, like, steadfast look. But she's got kind of, like, both of those things going on in her face. And
I mean, she's a teenage girl. Meg, Laurie, all these people, they're grown-ass adults. And they talked about why they don't let children in the GR. And I know she's not a child, but, like, seeing that this is very hard on her, and, like, her friend cried earlier knowing what they were going to go and do, and it's like, it's another side of it, and it is raw, and like, maybe she isn't quite emotionally able to handle this. But yeah, it's all good stuff. As this timer nears zero, almost everybody, it seems like, in the shantytown changes into GR clothing. Erica confirms there are no explosives inside the trailer. Timer hits zero, the GR storm the gates, they overwhelm security, and then the people who are not GR in the shanty, they follow suit. Everyone just storms Jarden, basically. And that woman from before, who said that Lily is not Nora's baby, steals Lily, runs off, Nora gives chase, and then finds Lily on the ground as everyone is running past, and, like, I'm glad we didn't go there, but this is very clearly set up as this baby is going to be trampled to death by people deliriously going into the Miracle Town. And that doesn't happen. Tommy saves them both and gets them inside this trailer. But what a kind of fucked up and almost pointless thing to happen, because it seems to not lead anywhere. And I don't know if this thread will pick up, but I don't know, it felt a little bit offbeat and just giving Nora a thing to do for a minute or something. But
yeah, I mean, I do think it was trying to find a way to get Carrie Coon to do something with Finale, but I do think kind of like that relationship with Lily and her uncertainty about this new family, like, it's supposed to evoke theme more than plot.
Sure. And, like, throughout the season there have been people who know things they shouldn't, and, like, that man who knew Mary was pregnant, and all sorts that I'm forgetting now, but, you know, people that know things that they shouldn't, and, like, this woman adamant it's not her baby, and it's like, does she know whose baby it is? Like, does she know about Wayne? Like, if we're saying this baby could potentially be an antichrist or something, does she know what the baby is? Like,
she's just really good at the racial breakdown of children and knows that it's half Asian, half African American.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, it could be. I know it's mixed race, but it ain't white, so fuck you.
I mean, I just call Patterson Joseph African American. He's definitely not that.
He's definitely not American. When Erica asks Evie why she's doing this, she writes, "You understand," and it's like, I don't think she does, because I sure don't.
I think she does.
Okay, because Daddy went away, and I was left with a mother who loves me. Never mind. I don't buy at all the siege of this town. The way it's shot, it's one dude and two women who effortlessly push back these three armed sheriffs or whatever.
Thing is, they're three armed sheriffs who probably don't want to shoot.
No, they don't want to shoot them, but, like, I think they're stronger than them. And, like, I know more people are behind them, but when the gate opens, it's because, like, one dude pushes it, and it's like, come on. And, like, people storm these gates all the time. We saw it earlier.
Yeah, but never in this quantity.
I am sure at some point a massive number attempted to storm. I just don't buy it. Like, I would have liked it to have been more of a struggle than it looks. Like, it seems like they just march through. Like,
what we're going to do, Matt, is we're going to, like, you're going to find 3 people, and I'm going to find about 50.
Okay.
And then your 3 people will try and guard a fence, and my 50 will try and get through, and we'll see.
They did it earlier. We saw 3 guard against, like, 9.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. I just don't buy that this has never happened before. Like, that this is the most people who've ever tried to get in. Like,
look, people can be civilized when they want to be.
Alright. it just seemed a bit comical when just this one dude pushes the gate open. Anyway, so what happened with Kevin? Let's find the fuck out. He wakes up in the same hotel bathtub, naturally very confused, very angry. This time he picks the police uniform. He heads down to the lobby and he reluctantly accepts an invitation to perform karaoke, believing this will let him return to life. Now, I've skimmed over this because it's a good solid 10 minutes of just amazingness. His motherfucker, like, just annoyed, like, just, I don't want to do this again.
It's like, because, like, he's experiencing it like the people who at home are experiencing it. Like, we've gone with International Assassin. If you're still watching the show after International Assassin, like, you're kind of in the headspace. We are not even an episode and a half.
Yeah.
Post that, and they've done it again.
Same musical cues, same staging, almost the exact same shot of him coming out of the bath, like, and just sort of like, I just did this. Like, I love it. And like, him refusing to get dressed at first, just standing there naked, trying to get the TV to make his dad appear again, and like, the remote has no batteries now, which is a very, like, not this time, son, like, kind of moment.
It's very much like when we said, like, the first scene of episode 9 is very much on the nose. Like, this show knows when it does something that could piss people off and does something to just slightly undercut it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're annoyed that we're doing this again. Just think what it's like to be Kevin.
Yeah, man. So when that phone rings, like, we find, before you even go down and see, you can tell that the voice on the phone is that Australian man from the bridge. And when he gets down there, it is in fact him hosting this karaoke lobby thing. You know, he's asking about how he gets to go back and how, you know, he's got a family and, like, it's not his time. And he's like, be original, mate. And then he says, I deserve to. And it's like, that's a very declarative thing from Kevin, who is, I don't know, it seems somewhat out of character, not in a bad way. Like, oh wow, Kevin, go you. Like, he's accepting his purpose or whatever, or like, he's communicating, like, the difficulty of what he just did and all that kind of stuff. Like, I like that a lot, that he just was ballsy enough to say, I fucking deserve to live, fuck you.
Yeah, I think it's like, after presumably, like, multiple suicide attempts and stuff like that, he's got rid of his demons and he's like, no, I want to have life again. Exactly,
like, he's free of Patty and his reward is to, like, be shot within the hour or something. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, he needs to live this life of without Patty. We haven't even seen him alive long enough to confirm that Patty's gone.
We haven't even seen him alive long enough to see Nora again.
That's true. The bravery of Justin Theroux to mediocrely, to, let's be honest, poorly sing Homeward Bound is just a wonderful, wonderful thing.
See, we can say he doesn't sing it that well. He doesn't sing it that well. But my God, he sells the motherfucking shit out of, like, every single thing that goes on.
It would have been worse if he was good at it. Like, it's appropriate he's bad. That's the whole point. Like, and that protects Justin Theroux as an actor, I feel. What was the song originally going to be, Ben?
It was going to be Like a Prayer by Madonna.
And she wouldn't let them have it.
She wouldn't let them.
She's precious about that song. I've heard other people trying to use it, and, like, she won't let them. I don't know what it is about that one that she feels is holy.
I think it's like her song. It's like her anthem or whatever. And it's like, I mean, to be honest, I think that it worked out for the better that they got Homeward Bound.
I mean, if this wasn't the original song, and, like, during his performance, they edit together, he says, you know, in the lyrics, cigarettes and magazines, and they show a shot of Kevin smoking, and they show a shot of that National Geographic. There's the line, I'll play the game and pretend, and then you see him smiling at the Garveys in that party when we know that he was not happy in that environment, and, like, you know, Jill has called him on, you know, are you pretending? Like, that kind of thing. Like, he was playing happy families when he was a deeply unhappy person. My love waiting silently for me, and you see Nora. It's like, if this wasn't originally the song you had planned, like, Jesus Christ, did you improvise the hell out of your second choice?
Yeah. Should we go through the full list of songs that are on the wheel that
could
have been sung?
Go for it.
So we've got I Would Die For You by Prince.
Obviously.
Like a Prayer,
Madonna. I would love to see Justin Theroux badly sing Prince. He doesn't have the energy for that.
Yeah, Like a Prayer, Madonna, obviously. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, Don't Stop Believing by Journey, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, Angel of the Morning, and All My Exes Live in Texas are the other songs. We do get to hear Angel of the Morning, sung by the previous person.
Yeah, pretty banging set list there. So, I mean, I keep saying it, what a ballsy show. Like, We changed location. We didn't show a character we knew for 40 minutes and then confirmed, nope, they all live here now. We had a second departure. We had male rape. We had the assertion that like a demon is living in Nora and his earthly vessel. Like, we've had the protagonist die and go through a James Bond cosplay LARP extravaganza to come alive again. We've had a fucking ghost. We've
had like episodes where the entire cast isn't even in the episode. We've had episodes focusing on like, this is a ballsy season of TV shows, and this might be the most ballsy thing that they do all season.
And then in the middle of their like high stakes dramatic finale with like, what's going on? Are they going to blow up the bridge? Oh, everyone's in Jordan, and oh, Evie's back. And then we're going to take 10 minutes to have Justin Theroux just really shakily sing one of the greatest songs ever written, and like, it works. That's the fucking amazing thing. That it's not like he finishes and then it's like, ha, you stupid man. It's like, no, he fucking wakes the fuck back up.
This is the emotional crux of the entire episode. Like, this is the conclusion to the season of season 2 of The Leftovers.
I think it's gorgeous. He doesn't sing it well, but at the same time, he crushes it. Like, I don't know how those two things can be true at once, but
I think this is the scene from The Leftovers that I've seen the most.
Yeah, it's great.
I in some ways, this is got to be like Brie Larson singing Black Sheep in Scott Pilgrim, where this is the version of Homeward Bound that I hear when I hear the song. Like, not like Sam Garfunkel sing Homeward Bound very, very well.
Yes.
But like, this is that cover that just completely emotionally gets me, and I'm so happy that there's a version of it on YouTube that I can just look up and watch. Yeah. I didn't tell you this, but after I watched episode 8, International Assassin, I was just like, I need to go watch
it now.
I'm watching the karaoke scene. I was like, I can't tell you that this has made me want to watch a scene in the finale, because I start to hint at the fact that like, this isn't the only time we go to the hotel all season. But
as some spoilers, I will not be torturing people with the isolated audio of that performance to close the episode. So yes,
it only works with the visuals.
It only works. Kevin does indeed wake up covered in blood, like a shit ton of blood all over Kevin. He's like soaking wet from blood.
And sweat.
Yeah, and sweat. He embraces his dog, his good doggo, heads outside to find basically a zombie movie. Like, place is deserted, in flames, like things are broken. Heads into the visitor centre where he meets the GR, who proceed to sing the miracle song at him to make him leave.
Spoilers, Liv Tyler is a better singer than Justin Theroux.
Spoilers, yeah. Liv Tyler and Jasmine Savoy Brown, yes. They harmonise very well. So he leaves, he wanders through the riot/celebration that is going on in the sort of welcome area, seeking medical attention, and John, of all people, provides it. So, firstly, his dog running away after he's finally reunited with it is very sad. It's the whole, rats fleeing a sinking ship, something bad is going to happen here, so the dog runs away type thing.
This is kind of the start of where we get some very explicit bookends to the season 1 finale.
Yeah.
Like this, like the season 1 finale, obviously Kevin arrives at Mapleton and the whole town's on fire, pretty much.
Yeah.
And now we've got to the same point with Jardin.
And he walked out of that with a tame dog, and he's walking into this, and his dog is gone again. So.
Yeah. So they're definitely paralleling that season 1 finale, which
I hope that dog doesn't go feral again. I hope that dog lives a nice life.
I don't think we ever see the dog again, sadly.
I hope the plot of Homeward Bound plays out for that dog. The film.
It goes back to Mapleton.
Yeah, exactly. When he's just walking along and just two people are randomly banging, I was like, what's happening here? Is it meant to be like a Last Days of Rome type thing? Like sodomy at the end of the world? Like, what's happening?
I just love the idea that it's just like there's people who've been waiting outside Jardin for weeks, for months, waiting to get in.
Well, you got to celebrate.
The first thing they do is just like, let's have sex in public.
I had to rewind it a couple of times to make sure that the person receiving was 100% a human woman, and B, alive and conscious, because who fucking knows with what is happening here. Confirmed both of those, I think.
With some excellent dubstep playing.
Some excellent dubstep as Kevin wanders through this just crazy pandemonium. When he gets into Erica's place of work and he's just dead on the floor.
And John shows blood everywhere.
Yeah, and John shows up and he goes, "I killed you." He goes, "Nope." I can't even do it justice. His line reading of "Nope" is amazing. Just dopey shot Kevin is my favourite Kevin so far, I think. They do the "Where Is My Mind" piano cover again as these two cry together, admit they don't know what's happening. Like, you know, John's like, "You should be dead," and it's like, yeah, well, guess I'm not. And there's just the two of them bonding in this moment, crying together, and it's like, hey, what an unlikely friendship that has formed that I love. I think that's a really beautiful scene, the two of them on the floor together, and then that transitions. They return to their respective houses. There is an even more violent earthquake than I think we've seen so far. Kevin gets up from it, heads inside, and finds Jill, Laurie, Matt, Mary, Tommy, Lily, and Nora all in his house, smiling and welcoming him home. And that's how we end. After all the crazy bullshit, a lot of it that we just listed off a few minutes ago, just to end on just a nice little happy family. Like, that's your season 2 finale. Before he goes inside, when John asks him, what if there's nobody home? When he goes inside, because we know Erica wanted to leave him. I think he at this point probably knows that Erica wanted to leave him. He knows that Evie willingly left him rather than do any of this. Like, he found out that Michael was going to see Virgil and that wounded him. So, you know, this very like raw, honest knowledge that he could be all alone when he goes inside. And Kevin responding like, "Then you come over to my house." It's like, oh my god, guys, like.
Yeah, like this unexpected like friendship that blossoms in the last few minutes of this episode, like after the biblical like fingering of his bullet hole.
And they wave to each other as well. The return of the little wave. I love it. So yeah, again, these earthquakes always happen before some. This is the first one where something like crazy. I mean, you could call it crazy that all those people are in that house together, but everything else has been borderline supernatural, and this one is the biggest one yet. The way it's shot, it seems severe.
Yeah, but the lovely panning shot as they go inside, and they pan through like pretty much the entire regular cast minus the Murphys.
I would like to petition for this to become, for season 3 to be a sitcom with this crazy like set of families that all live together. Like, oh, these guys and their adventures. Yeah.
You have no idea how close you've gotten to.
Well, I've seen the trailer for season 3, Ben. A man says I'm not Jesus. So, yeah, there's season 2. Again, this episode I thought did a great job of moving between everyone, giving everyone their moment. Like, some people got more moments than others, but everyone got something.
Yeah, like I think the biggest letdown of season 2 as a whole, which is just a massive improvement over season 1. Like it's night and day that season 2 is a better season of television than season 1 is.
Yep.
Is that Carrie Coon just doesn't get enough to do.
No, and what she does is she's great in. Like she had some moments I think a bit earlier on, but as it moves, as I feel the back half of the season, she's just not the focus character. Like Kevin has to die, Meg has to get an episode. Like
yeah, she gets Lens, but she says it with Regina King. Luckily, season 3 gives Carrie Coon a lot to do.
Good. She is the secret main character of this show.
She is the secret. I mean, she is the second lead.
Wow,
really.
This is true. She's on the posters.
It's just Kevin kind of takes up a lot of space in season 2.
Well, Kevin has a massive wang. He does take up space. So yeah.
So what were your thoughts on season 2, Matthew?
Amazing, wonderful. Giving it that new central mystery and this location and these infinitely better supporting characters and just so much more confidently executing on these like crazier ideas and like the balls of stuff like International Assassin and the karaoke and an improvement on everyone that was already here. Kind of. I mean, Carrie Coon doesn't get as much to do, so I don't know if she's an improvement.
But she gets more to do than she did in the first half of season 1. She just doesn't.
That's true. Where she was kind of a side character. Yeah. But Jill, a complete 180. Patty, you said it earlier. Like all these people we've come around on, and the Murphys were great. I thought, and I'm glad Evie came back because coming out of episode 1, I was like, man, all 4 of these are great, and then it immediately was like, oh. Only 3 of these are going to be around. But, for better or worse, I'm glad she's back. If, for nothing else, the actress. And, yeah, I thought it was great. And there are still some unanswered threads, so you couldn't quite end it all here, but on some level, it would have been
that's the issue, is the show's ratings were bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course they're bad. Like, think about what this show is about.
But yes, the show's ratings were bad, and they almost didn't get the final season. And I feel like the only reason they got a final season was because of the overwhelming critical support. And
16 months between season 2 and season 3, right?
Yeah, quite a long time.
That's not a good sign.
But yeah, like it's such an intensely favoured show from its fans that I think they gave it to give them that conclusion, because we live in that age where things do normally get conclusions nowadays. But I would have been so sad because, I mean, we were working together when I was watching season 2.
Yeah.
So, and we were working night shifts, not together, but...
I began the night shift and you finished it.
Yeah, in close enough proximity. But yeah, so I remember
Great
the
times.
night...
Don't you dare take a lunch, Ben. Don't you dare take a 3 a.m. lunch.
The day the finale aired, I think I got in from work and I was just like, I need to watch this immediately. So I didn't sleep. I literally got in from a 12-hour shift at work and then put on the finale to watch it.
I think the one night shift I did, I got home at like 6, 7 a.m. and I did stay awake and I watched something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it's a crazy thing to do.
Yeah, but I watched this finale after 12 hours of no sleep, and it's just still a wonderful episode of television.
Did you just go into a coma immediately after it?
Pretty much.
All right, I guess let's see how I feel about characters at the end of season 2, as I dramatically have reordered this while talking it out. Bottom to top?
Bottom to top.
All right, number 12, Tommy. I guess.
Surprise.
Yeah, like, I get it. He's confused. He's a confused, hurt young man who has emotions all over the place, but his decision-making has been poor, and it's not about the execution of the characters, but we can't talk about Tommy without acknowledging how poorly he is executed in comparison to almost everyone else. But yeah, just in terms of, like, falling for your rapist and, like, following her down to Jarden and, like, I don't know, he was sympathising with the GR at points, and yeah, I don't know. I feel the bottom end of this list these days is a much less severe hatred as it was in season 1, when I was like, I would put Patty at like minus 5,000 if I could. Evie, number 11.
Wow.
Welcome back to the list. I don't know, maybe she goes above Laurie, who's number 10, but you did talk me around on Evie a bit here, because I originally had her at the very bottom, but just this notion of signing up for the GR like that when you have no cause to, and like, my phrasing of like fangirling it, I don't know, that didn't sit right with me, but she experienced loss in her father leaving, so I get it. Laurie, like, again, I like the warmth she has with her family, and I'm glad she's away from the GR, but like, she is also not making phenomenal decisions, I would say. Meg, all the way up to number 9. Turns out, much like with Patty, when you take her away from the rules and the full cult and you just let her play, she's a lot more fun, and like seeing a lot of her viewpoints, and like still a bad person. She raped, she terrified children. Who knows what she did to those dogs? She ordered a man stoned to death. You know what, Meg should probably be at the bottom of the list.
Meg should probably be at the bottom of the list, but she's too
fun though. John rises all the way like a phoenix to number 8. As I said, this final episode, an episode where in an episode where he kills the protagonist for the second time. I don't know, just seeing...
We can firmly say that wasn't hallucinogenic that Virgil gave him.
Yeah, that was the other thing you posed me. Yeah, he did drink poison and
that was just me having some fun, because I definitely knew like it wasn't hallucinogenic, but I was just like,
I figured. Yeah, just seeing his side of it and seeing him actually react to things did a lot to make him more likable, and like the way you end the episode with him crying with Kevin and then sort of being buds, good place. Matt at number 7. I could swap these, but I kind of like Erica quite a bit, even if she doesn't do tons. So I had her at 6 and Matt at 7. But seeing Matt like light up when Mary wakes up would potentially make me swap Erica and Matt there. Mary goes up to number 5 from the middle because she did something. So I can say, you're nice, but you haven't done much. So
she confirmed that Matt is not a rapist.
That's true. That goes a long way to make you like Matt as well. Kevin at 4?
Ooh.
I feel he should be higher, but like the top 3 are all very nice people. So I could. It's a toss-up between everyone in the top 4. I have Michael at 3, I have Nora at 2 again, and I have Jill at number 1. Like,
darling angel Jill.
yeah, she gave Laurie shit for being in the GR, and like, you know, Nora did leave Kevin, but she's still generally a very. I just, you know, I get the sense she was more overwhelmed. Like, would she have permanently left him? I don't know, but she just needed to get out of that situation. So
She had a very hard day.
I won't drag her on this forever, but it is why Jill replaced her at number 1. Because Jill is generally, apart from a brief, like, hissy fit about not getting to bone, she's generally just been really nice this season. So she gets to be number 1. And Michael, like, what a good kid, you know? Like, his little church story is great, and I have a hard time saying he's less likeable than Kevin, but I do like Kevin a lot. So again, this list generally, there's a lot of love here now, when I genuinely despised some of these characters at one point. So that says a lot.
I'm happy.
Good. Well, let's see how happy you are next week as we get on to season 3.
Before we start, I do want to ask, what are your wants for season 3 as a final season?
Like, I mean, thinking about what loose ends there are, I mean, the biggest loose end of all is what happened on the day of the departure. Again, I don't know if we ever find that out. I don't know if it's better if we don't, but that would certainly be the biggest unanswered question. We know that Kevin Sr. has gone to Australia. We know about David Burton. We know that, you know, like, that's definitely, and I really enjoy Kevin Sr. as a character, so I want to see him again. And I know we go to Australia, so I know we're going to fucking see him. I would like to see, you know, the consequences of Jarden getting, like, invaded, because that's no small thing. And I just kind of want to see, the immediate conversation that follows this season finale as this room full of people are together again, you know, and I presume we're getting another Matt-focused episode in a world where he has his wife back, and I think I also know we've moved forward a year or something, or at some point we're going to move forward.
We have not moved forward just a year.
2 years.
Not
3 years.
We are 3 years ahead.
Okay.
We are barreling towards October 14th, 2018, as we head into season 3.
Indeed, the 7-year anniversary, I believe. So I assume Matt's got a baby as well, so I assume I'm going to like this Matt 3rd episode after liking the first one and not liking the second one.
We shall
and
find
maybe
out.
that'll make me appreciate the second one more. But yeah, I just want more of everything I like, really. And you told me that, like, season 3 they get to actually finally take the training wheels off, and again, a man died and sang and LARPed his way back to life this season. So
Yeah, like season 2 is kind of constrained to a standard narrative. Season 3, it's still got a standard narrative, but there is even more confidence going into, like, the swap between episodes. They basically kind of become like kind of short movies. Like, there isn't a need for a narrative cohesion. It's just like, well, we're going to do this week, and you're just kind of like, right, I'm happy with you doing this week, and then the next week it's a completely different tone, completely different characters, completely different location, and you're just like, this is.
has it become an anthology series?
No, because it still adds up, and you'll see what I mean when we get into it. But like, there's one episode of this podcast that we're going to record where complete tonal opposite of the second episode. That's kind of insane, and you'll know it exactly when we do it. But it's just like the fact that the show can do those two things tonally is kind of staggering. And I mean, I don't know whether or not I think season 2 or season 3 is better. I think season 2 will forever hold a special place in my heart because it's just a phenomenal piece of television. But there are things in season 3 which I have never seen a show attempt to do.
The trailer was bananas, and I know it's not even scratching the surface. To pull down the curtain a little bit, it will be the longest I go between episodes of the show as I'm going away for a little while. We actually recorded on back-to-back days or close to it.
Yeah, we've watched 6 episodes within a week.
Yeah, to get season 2 finished before I go away, and because I didn't want to go away not knowing how this season ends, so I get to ruminate on all this and then come back and we will do season 3 as we head towards the end of our podcast, Ben. So
yeah, you get to find out whether or not the world ends on October 14th, 2018.
I do, and I'll find that out on For Realsies October 14th, 2018 when our final episode will air. But that is still a precious few weeks away. So thank you for joining us on season 2. We will see you in season 3. Bye, everyone.
Farewell.
Home, where my thoughts escaping home, where my music's playing home, where my love lies waiting silently.